Today on the Topping Show, Walmart stock has its worst drop since 2023. Apple unveils a $600 iPhone. Endeavor aircraft sparks controversy since the company has been pushing all-female aircrew for quite some time. Attempted Trump assassin helped recruit mercenaries for Ukraine. Mitch McConnell will not seek re-election and gives his retirement speech. And the Porsche 911 is being recalled due to their headlights. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day because he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. And yes, of course, it does come with a fun Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more, or click the URL in the video description below. Lastly, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part podcast, you have Walmart stock having its worst drop since 2023. And because this is finance, I do have to clarify and delineate, this is not financial advice. Lord knows hindsight is always 2020 when it comes to investing. I mean, shoot, imagine if you invested in Walmart in the 1990s, let's just say you'd be a pretty well off right about now. I say that because before we get to the article, look at the stock price. It's still at $97.94 per share. Granted, by the time this video is rendered and uploaded, it'll change. Stock market does that. But overall, since its inception or IPO, the Walmart stock has gone up 21,184.78%. Well, I thought I was going to reload there for a second. It might go more or less, which, again, that is still insanely great. Now, 5-year trend is still greatly beating the S&P 500. 5-year trend is up 147.69%. Now, the real thing that's getting a lot of people excited about Walmart is the past year. I mean, S&P 500 on average goes maybe 10, 12 points up or percentages up throughout the year of growth. Walmart went up 67.02% in the past year. That's ridiculously good. I mean, geez Louise, imagine if you bought it at $60 per share or 58.76 per share, and now it's at 97.98% or per share. That's ridiculously good. Year to date, pretty good. And for 6 months, went up 30%. Month, pretty good. But then, look at last week. It was about $140 per share, and then crash. Went down about 7%. Which, again, it's not the end of the world, but a pretty big deal when you look at the historicals. And again, past year, they seem to almost be able to do no wrong. I mean, several increases and sales going up left and right, especially when people wonder. I think more and more people are starting to realize, honey, why are we going to this place called Target? Not only do they not share a lot of our values, but Walmart has everything Target has at a fraction of the price. Granted, statistically speaking, there's a higher probability you'll get stabbed at a Walmart. However, it almost makes it like an action adventure. You got to dodge throughout the aisles to get your groceries quickly, effectively, and safely. I am partially exaggerating, but I'm just pretty frugal myself. I don't think I've been in Target in a decade or plus more to buy anything there. I just don't understand the value point. I mean, it's a nicer, amenities. It's a fancier store. It's more lights there. It's nice. But yeah, let's just say, personally, I go to Walmart. It's got everything you need. Darn near. Now, diving the article by, vintage company, Yahoo Finance, somehow still in business. Specifically, Brooke DePalma, his writer there, says, quote, Walmart stock drops as it posts their Q4 earnings beat, but has a cautious 25 guidance, which, yeah, when you look at their sales, they seem actually pretty good, but there's a lot of uncertainty, and especially around, economics, political as well. Guess what Trump is a fan of? Tariffs. Or Trump say, we're going to tariff the shit out of China. They've been getting away with crime for years. Fiscally speaking, also humanitarian, which, fact check, true, they have. They've been getting the better end of the stick for decades. And spoiler alert, a lot of things at Walmart, they're made in China. So the tariffs could have a big impact on what they sell. And remember, the most profitable, important things that Walmart sells, they're not groceries. It's everything else in the store. More often than not made in America. Now, diving into the article, they say, quote, Walmart posted yet another strong quarter of earnings, but it wasn't enough for investors. Both top and bottom line came in higher than Wall Street expected in the retailer's fourth quarter and fiscal 2025 results. Now they say quarterly revenue increased 5.3% year over year to, geez Louise, one quarter. 180, again, 180, it's almost, I already have an issue speaking in general with the stuttering and everything, but nevertheless, I'm more flabbergasted than usual when I see these numbers. $182.6 billion, while adjusted per earnings per share came in, were up 10% to 0.66 cents per share, which that's great, but also remember, they mostly sell groceries, very small profit margins. They're talking less than 3%. So, I mean, it's just like the McDonald's model. Get all your money from everything in the aggregate and the volume. And they say, however, Walmart stock dropped as much as 7% as retailers' fiscal 2026 guidance disappointed investors. The move puts Walmart on track for the worst trading day since November 2023. Now, they say that same-store sales for Walmart increased 4.6% for the quarter as retail attracted more higher-income customers with its emphasis on value and convenience. They say Walmart's U.S. e-commerce sales jumped 20% year over year, fueled by in-store pickup and delivery, as well as advertising its platform on the online marketplace, which I don't want to say F- for marketing, but I'm a shopper at Walmart. How have I never seen advertising for Walmart on them internets? It's kind of bizarre. Nevertheless, Doug McClellan, the CEO, says, quote, "We have the momentum driven by our low prices and growing assortment and an e-commerce business driven by faster delivery times. We're gaining market share, our top line is healthy, and we're in great shape with inventory." Now they continue saying, quote, "Its subscription service, Walmart Plus," because every subscription has to have a plus. That's the rule, I don't know who thought of it first, but it is the default subscription name for pretty much everything these days. Now they say the Walmart Plus subscription service saw double-digit growth in the quarter, while membership and other income increased 33%. The retailer's U.S. grocery business, which makes up 60% of total sales, saw a mid-single-digit income same-store growth, boosted by increased foot traffic and e-commerce. Discretionary items like toys, home decor, and fashion have been lagging in recent years, saw low single-digit worth growth, which isn't good because those things are infinitely more profitable than things like groceries. I say for the full year, Walmart surpassed Wall Street expectations. Net sales increased 5.6% to $684.2 billion, which is quite a pretty pain to say the least. They say, quote, "However, investors will focus less on the quarter and more on the outlook for 2025, with specifically outlook we expect to be initial conservative and below consensus guided for the fiscal year." This is according to Deutsche Bank analyst Christina Katai, that told their clients in a prior note of their earnings. They continue saying, quote, "For its fiscal year 2026, the company put forth conservative guidance, which has been done for the last 2 years. It projects to increase net sales between 3 and 4%. Walmart CFO John David Rainey said, quote, "We've been operating in a highly dynamic backdrop for several years, and we expect this year to be no different. Our outlook assumes a relatively stable macroeconomic environment, but acknowledges there are still uncertainties related to consumer behavior and global economic and geopolitical conditions," unquote. Now, they also know that Walmart shares soared 75% in the past year prior to the earnings report, and compared to only a 23% gain for the S&P 500 and a 13% drop for Target, which is one of their biggest competitors, which, again, I understand they consider a competitor, but I don't really, because, Target's just more expensive for the same damn stuff. That's why, again, not financial advice, but that's why I always think Walmart is more stable than Target, because there's realistically, for your value dollar, not a lot of competitors to Walmart. Let me know in the comments. I can't conceivably think of one. You can maybe debate at Costco, but again, even that's going to be as bulk goods compared to, individual components. But what's the competitor to Walmart these days? Realistically, call me crazy, I don't see many. In terms of grocery stores, some people bring up H-E-B, but that's a lot more expensive, and they also don't sell things that are not. They sell some knickknacks, but they don't have the assortment that Walmart does in terms of t-shirts, TVs, all the other crap that some people think they need to buy. So that's why it's hard. I really don't think they have much competitors at all. Now, again, their revenue came in at $182.6 billion. They were only expected to get $180 billion. Walmart's same-store growth was 4.6%. The foot traffic growth was 2.8% compared to the 2.67% they expected. The e-commerce sales growth is 2.9%, which is better than the expected 2.88%. They know that Sam's Club in-store sales grew 6.8%, which is better than they thought because, again, Walmart owns Sam's Club. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, there's a lot of doom and gloom around Walmart. And again, I understand a lot of the things are dependent on tariffs and they import a lot of their products. But I mean, if you're dissatisfied with Walmart, what is a competitive place to go to? If you want to go to cost per unit, you could debate Dollar General, but that's not. I mean, if you actually expand it to like cost per ounce and you look at like the value you're getting in that regard, I mean, Walmart still beats them. So that's why, even though everyone's about doom and gloom with Walmart right now, again, not financial advice, but I think they'll still make a bounce back and their sales will still continue to increase. And as this becomes a political thing with, again, the tariffs, maybe the CEO of Walmart will talk with Trump about getting certain exemptions, or maybe they'll onshore some production of some of the things that they make. I mean, Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, he actually had a big initiatives, I believe, I want to say it was the 90s. I read his book. It is called Sam Walton Made in America. And he actually did a lot of work with American manufacturers to get big bulk deals, which, again, helped the manufacturers out because they got those big guaranteed contracts, but also helped Walmart out because they decreased the cost per unit. And for the consumer, got a great quality material at an economic price point. So it's a win-win-win situation. Sam was very passionate about that. Again, this was years ago. Now his kids and grandkids are in charge of Walmart. Again, also the shareholders. So it'll be interesting to see if they try to pivot back to that. And again, depending on the tariffs, that might even be cheaper, debatably, but we'll see. But let's just say my 3 cents used to be 2 cents, but 4-year hyperinflation got to be 3 cents. I think Walmart's going to be just fine. And shoot, I think their sales will continue to grow and investors will eventually realize the long-term value of Walmart. But let me know in the comments because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Apple revealing a $600 iPhone. Although the marketing team made sure to make sure you think it's $500 because they're listing it at a price point of $599, which is a fascinating psychological phenomenon that does actually work in retail, and people will think it's a $500 phone, even though, again, you have to take into account the extortion. I mean, the sales tax, which in Texas is 8.25%. Well, I usually like to round up just to make it easy, 10%. So it's really a $660 phone when you take into account. Oh yeah, you want to probably buy an iPhone case, a couple extra chargers, charging cords, and then Apple Care plus Banana Falcon health plan. So, $1,000 phone? I'm only partially exaggerating. Now this comes to us thanks to Keith, who's a writer at CNBC. They say, quote, Apple unveils cheaper iPhone 16e, powerful enough to run AI. Woohoo! There you can see, ironically, Tim Cook standing there looking debatably more awkward than me. That's saying something. Now, specifically, they say, quote, Apple announced a new iPhone model that is priced lower than the main iPhone models, which usually come out in September. The new iPhone is called the iPhone 16e. I know they'll never admit it, but could that stand for economical? That's what I think of. That's what it is. We're going to make that thing today, perhaps. Now they say it'll retail for $599 when it goes on sale later this month. The new iPhone E doesn't have the home button and a fingerprint sensor. It's got my attention already. Less spyware. I kind of like that. Instead, it uses Apple Face ID. Oh, I spoke too soon. And modern design, including a sensor top-notch at the top of the screen, uses Apple's A18 chip, which also used in the main iPhone 16 models. The updated processor means the iPhone 16e can run all the same apps and games that the more expensive iPhones can run. It comes in black and white. The phone also includes Apple's first cellular modem, which it calls C1. iPhones have used Qualcomm modems for the past few years. It will have a single camera lens versus the many three on most iPhones. Why do you need that many lenses? Yeah, it looks, I guess, old school because it's more simplistic. It might even fit in your pocket as modern phones seem to become more and more bloated. Now, they also say, quote, Apple releases new low-cost iPhone sales as previous sales have been mixed in quarters and the company seeks for more growth and more important, a new product category. Since usually you have to sell your firstborn and half your mortgage to get the recent iPhones. They say for the December quarter, Apple's overall iPhone sales were down 1% on an annual basis. They still sold more than $69 billion worth of phones. Jeez Louise. They say low-end iPhones are important to Apple as it gets new customers into their ecosystem. And then it's funny that And again, compared to the Apple portfolio, $600 is, I mean, basically free. It's half off. But I mean, I don't know, to me, $600 is still a lot of money, especially when Android has competitors, competitive options. But it is funny that, this is considered economical, which, again, in comparison, someone will say it's all relatively speaking. Now, they say, again, low-end iPhones are important as they try to get new customers. And the new device supports Apple Intelligence, making it Apple's least expensive new phone that can access features like image generation and notification summaries. They say Apple's current models are the 16, which starts at $799, the iPhone 16 Pro, which starts at $999, and then we had the the Pro Banana Falcon. It's like $1,500 or whatever. They get up there. Samsung does the same crap where they have like the 16, the 25 Pro, 25 Pro Falcon, Banana Falcon, whatever. Call me silly, but I just call them small, medium, large. I'm actually thinking about getting a new phone because my Samsung S10 is getting a little bit old. I'm worried about reliability. But yeah, I'm looking at all these different phones and I just call them, small, medium, large. Because again, funny enough, all these phone companies have the same thing. They got 3 models, and they usually are the smallest, the medium, and the largest in size as well. Another thing, I'll get my soapbox for New York Minute here. I hate the fact that Samsung, which used to be the OG, I've had many of their phones, they got rid of the feature for you to have the additional expanded memory by putting the micro SD card in there. Why do you take away features I love so much? So now the only way you can get a terabyte of storage on Samsung phones is to buy the one that's the size of a dinner plate. I call it, the large, and also costs a pretty penny. That's where Apple actually does have a competitive advantage. If you want a terabyte of memory on your phone, you can get the medium iPhone, which would be, the 16 Pro? Wherever the medium phone is. They have too many names. But nevertheless, they continue saying, quote, Apple has released a least expensive iPhone model to round out the bottom of its lineup in 2016. The iPhone SE, as it was called then, got further updates in 2020 and 2022. Generally, the iPhone SE reused the older design that the newest iPhones, but Apple updated its components, such as the processor, so it can receive ongoing software updates. They say that after the iPhone SE sells out, there won't be many new iPhones with a fingerprint scanner. It will also be less expensive than iPhone, 16e at $429. So I can't help but think they're also running out of customers at the high end of the market, since all my friends with extravagant disposable income already have iPhones. So it makes sense for them to go and introduce this new quote-unquote entry-level phone, and it'll be interesting to see what the adoption rate is and how much market share could they realistically take away from Android. But I don't know. Maybe a fair amount. I know Apple is still a hip, cool brand the kids like these days. And if the parents have the option to get a cheaper one, that might push me in the right direction. But I'm a little skeptical, but let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the Cultural Report podcast, you have Endeavor Air had a little bit of an air crash. And after bragging about having an all-female crews, they're now locking the comments and all their social media, which can't help but think, as youth might say, is sus. Or, as most people say, suspicious. If they have nothing to hide, why are they locking down the comments and not telling us who the pilots were? Can't help but think if it was just, a regular old guy, they'd probably say, oh yeah, this is Bob. He crashed the plane. But days have gone by and they're pretty quiet. Now, this is one of the previous posts that they had on their social media account on X. This is, again, Endeavor Air. They say, quote, buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Your flight is unmanned today. Hashtag girl power. Which, I do appreciate a good pun. They did use the term unmanned as a good pun. Now, unfortunately, some people are speculating perhaps the plane crashed because of the excessive weight of some of these gals in the picture. That they're just alleging that. The one in the middle, I'm not saying if the plane ran out of snacks, she'd be the number one suspect, but she'd be on the list. Now, in the picture, you have 4 gals, and presumably one is a pilot. She has extra swag on her uniform, so I assume little shoulder swag means pilot. And in the picture, they say Kaylin M, and then it's CRJ 900. And let's just say, yeah, they locked down these comments pretty quick. Now, this is actually an old photo that's gone viral. This is from 2022. So they've been doing this for quite some time. It only got 2.3 thousand likes, which, again, for a business with a lot of social media following, isn't that great. One of the first comments comes from Ed Wilkins saying, quote, glass ceiling shattered, literally gained 13,000 likes, which, as youth might say, is ratioed beyond all belief. TYD said fixed it, and he he actually flipped the picture of the gals upside down, getting 18,000 likes as the plane did land, whoopsies, upside down. Now, you also have MK, so buckle up because it's going to crash. LOL, getting 6,000 likes. American Wagyu Sky says, women who fly upside down have crack up. Grammar be damned, he did write that, and that got 1.3 thousand likes. Sam Wise says, if you fly unmanned, you can perform aerial acrobatics never seen in history, like the elusive plane flip on the runway. Wow, getting 1.3 thousand likes, which, yeah. Let's see here. Humble servant of God says, reminds me of these. And it's a picture from Southwest Airlines who said, quote, or they're retweeting the tweet. They're saying Southwest deleted their DEI tweet after getting roasted on X relentlessly. And Southwest Airlines recently said all female crew get off. They say get off Queens. And I don't believe they were talking about the geographic location of Queens, New York, which people only know because of Captain America, the old good Captain America, not the one that hates America. But that did get 1,000 likes. Now, going to Ed Wokeness, who reposted this, he said, quote, they locked the comment section. And he has a picture of those gals again. And one of the first ones comes from Paul Zupa saying, quote, they should have locked DEI out of the airline, getting 62 likes. Cash Lorenz says, quote, they know they put people's lives at risk, getting 27 likes. Which, again, they're not alone in this. Again, this is a subsidiary of Delta. And, yeah, there's some CEOs who were sober, and they said, oh, yeah, we're going to, diversity is our top priority. Or we're looking at new pilots, because in the past, you didn't have an equal number of people represented by race and demographics. So you have CEOs of airlines saying the number one initiative is finding people based on things they cannot change, like their skin tone and their gender. You also have Nick's Dank Memes, which, again, he does get A+ for marketing. He did in Factory Bond in meme form. And he has a picture of a scratched car. The girl goes, whoops. You have a picture of the crashed, what is it? What boat did that gal crash? But there's a lesbian, very famous lesbian who crashed a boat. And then he says, whoops. Then you have the airline pilot with the upside down plane says, whoops. And that's a good pun because the whoops is actually written upside down as well. I got 502 likes. Logical Icon has a picture of the gals upside down, getting 439 likes. SK Cartoon responded in cartoon form and vernacular form as well, saying, quote, the truth will come out and people should sue them into bankruptcy for putting DEI over safety. There's a cartoon comic of a plane and says, we're about to land in Canada where DEI is alive and well. And the plane crashes upside down with the Canadian flag, getting 623 likes. And surprisingly, no community note. I say that because I don't see a single beaver or moose or dictator, Trudeau, in that picture of Canada. And I'm not saying those are around every square inch of Canada, but I think there'd be at least one beaver pelt or one moose in that picture, or one hockey puck. Let's just say I'm a little suspicious of this comic. You also have, let's see here, Texas Boy saying, there's a picture of a gal on a fire, says, I hope an obese lesbian woman of color reaches us before white men, getting 286 likes, which, yeah, the Los Angeles Fire Department, one of the gals who's getting $300,000 per year, one of the fire chiefs, who's a obese lesbian, once blamed, was it the victim blaming, where she said, they asked her, what do you do if there's a man in the fire? She goes, well, if he got himself in the fire, that's his problem. Which, of course, she still has a job because that's, the culture of California. Badass Rocket TV says, buckle up. And it's a picture of the airplane upside down, getting 7 likes. Jeff says, your internet gold. It's a picture of a screenshot from Ed Woken. It says, quote, glass ceiling shattered, literally, getting 19 likes. Malik Sadi Davis says, because they partner with us. There's a screenshot from a website called Sisters of the Sky. It says, committed to diversifying the skies. Interesting idea. 77 likes. So we'll see how much pushback there is. There's a lot of people making jokes about, checking out what does their captain look like when they go into an airplane, when you're first walking into that airplane. Kind of poke your head in there and be like, just kind of gauge it. And again, that's one of the bad side effects of a lot of these DEI initiatives. It makes people question the authenticity and actually qualifications of the people who get these jobs. And again, there's actually a current lawsuit being filed by many men who had high test scores. The FAA actually turned them down for jobs, and other people with lower test scores actually did get jobs. So again, that lawsuit's been filed. We'll see what happens at the end of the day. But again, that's currently in motion, so to say. So it'll be interesting to see how things end up. And let's just say a lot of people are suspicious because, again, they're not releasing the data yet in terms of, who is flying this airplane. But let me know your thoughts because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going over to the political part of the podcast, you have the attempted Trump assassin helped recruit mercenaries for Ukraine, which, interesting. Almost as if he was worried about the money train or the gravy train coming to an end. Again, we've spent about $180 billion on Ukraine, which Zelensky told us was an investment. However, anyone with a modicum of intelligence would say investments go up over time. If they're a good investment, you usually get something back out of it. I mean, even if you buy Walmart stock and goes down for a day or two, not financial advice, but usually they'll go up, in the future. It's a stable company. We're not even in the top 10 trading partners of Ukraine. I'm not sure how we'll ever see a return on investment for $180 billion. Now, this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness, which he says, quote, "The guy who tried to kill Trump said he helped recruit mercenaries to fight for Ukraine. It got memory hold instantly." Where here's a picture of him, which he looks, I guess I am surprised he does not have short blue hair. That is a little bit of a surprise. And it looks like an old New York Times interview. It says, quote, interview with Mr. Lackey said that he had lied about being a U.S. Marine so he could join the Legion. The Legion growth stalling Ryan Routh, a former construction worker from North Carolina, is seeking recruits from among Afghan soldiers who fled the Taliban. Mr. Routh, who spent several months in Ukraine last year, said he planned to move them, in some cases illegally, from Pakistan and Iran to Ukraine. He said dozens had expressed interest. He said, "We could probably purchase some passports through Pakistan since it's a corrupt country." And he said in an interview from Washington, they say it's not clear whether he had succeeded, but one former Afghan soldier said he had been contacted and was interested in fighting if it meant leaving Iran, where he was living illegally. And surprisingly enough, this guy basically, no one really cared about this except me, apparently. He got 153,000 reviews and only 4,000 likes, which, again, not the most viral, but at least I thought it was interesting. One of the first comments comes from Jay, who said, quote, "Who funded his trips to Ukraine? His 7 cell phones? How did he manage to purchase a SKS rifle on a $0 salary? Doge will find out." Getting 20 likes, which, that was a very unusual curveball. He had an SKS, one of the vintage, nowadays, vintage rifles developed before the infamous AK-47 developed by Mikhail Kalashnikov, as you would think, as you can guess, in 1947. Paul Zupa says, quote, "The media only promote what the Democrat overlords want. These overlords have been funding the media with their tax dollars after all," getting 20 likes. Gunther Eagleman says, quote, "I wonder why," got 60 likes. Democrat Media TM says, quote, "By them, we kept it alive. We always remind them," getting 7 likes. Let's see here. Crazy Vibe says, "Your taxes went straight up Zelensky's nostrils," getting 7 likes. It's a picture of Zelensky with maybe a runny nose, perhaps. I mean, talk about the ultimate grift. He couldn't even suit up, as all men always should, when he was begging for money all over the U.S. He came in a t-shirt to meet the president. How pathetic is that? A t-shirt? You're literally a multi-billionaire. You can afford a suit. I mean, shoot, a Goodwill suit will run you under $100, I think. And yet, a multi-billionaire Zelensky coming here to beg for money couldn't suit up. Which means I see it as either lazy or disrespectful. He also won't hold elections unless we pay for it. And he also cancels religion. Fighting for democracy, right? We also have Kenzia Amado saying, quote, "It got memory hold instant," getting 6 likes. Ed says, "Screw Ukraine, the largest money laundering scheme ever," getting 6 likes. Retro Rebel has a Photoshop picture of Zelensky. Of course, all the men around him are suited up, and all the ladies are wearing dresses. And he's wearing his rudimentary outfit, and they photoshopped him to be very short, like Joe Rogan short. They got 9 likes. So it'll be interesting to see when Doge actually looks in the finances and they find out where this money went and how ineffective it was spent. But not surprised he tried to get some mercenaries to go over there, and we'll see what happens in the future in terms of how he gets prosecuted and then much. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, Mitch McConnell will not seek reelection and gives his retirement speech. One less rhino after all these years of taking our tax dollars. Yeah. And yet people kept voting for him. Again, people, Everyone roasts rhinos. Yes, they should, but also people kept voting for the guy. Primary of those SOBs. Now, this comes to us thanks to Benny Johnson, and he says, quote, absolutely brutal. Listen, Rhino Mitch McConnell gives his retirement speech. And it's about 1:10 long. And I mean, I might be biased because he might speak so incoherently. It makes me look articulate and brilliant by comparison. So maybe part of me will actually appreciate him, but without too much further ado.
They depend in turn on the credibility of America's commitments to friends and the strength of her threats to enemies. In turn, the safety and success of the men and women who volunteer to serve this great nation in uniform depend on the work we do here to ensure that enemies think twice before challenging them, and those enemies never face a fair fight. Thanks to Ronald Reagan's determination, the work of strengthening America's hard power was well underway when I arrived in the Senate.
1923, kidding.
But since then, we've allowed that power to atrophy. And today, a dangerous world threatens to outpace the work of rebuilding it. So lest any of our colleagues still doubt my intentions for the remainder of my term, I have some unfinished business to attend to.
And he gone. Well, at least he will not see re-election. And yeah, pretty much a rhino his entire career. He did one or two good things. Apparently, he did vote for Kash Patel, so he gets some credit for that. And then, awkward long pause. What else did he do that was good for us? He blocked one of the Obama extremists from getting on the Supreme Court. That's two things. I'm sure there's more. I just can't think of him at the moment. But yeah, let's just say I don't think overall he'd be too missed. He stopped some of those extreme things that Democrats try to do throughout the years. But yeah, overall, I think he acquiesced and he was mostly a rhino, unfortunately. Now, this didn't go as viral as I thought. I got about 135,000 views and 2.6 thousand likes. One of the first comments coming from Libercat Media TM saying, quote, whoa, retiring, guys. Just hitting his prime, getting 24 likes, which, again, the bar's pretty low when it comes to politicians speaking, or me speaking for that matter, but it actually sounded pretty good. Now, granted, he's also falling down left and right. He's clearly not in the best physical health, but he spoke more coherently than Biden, which is, yes, the bar's quite low, but it's something. But yeah, clearly not at his best. You also have Indamita saying, quote, go away, cocaine Mitch. You are a shit stain on America. Your party no longer exists. And they say it's a little cartoon of Mitch with a rhino horn. It says, here's your 30 pieces of silver. And the bag of money is labeled GOP minority leader. And man, good biblical reference. They got 139 likes. Scout says, hard pass, Doge, kick his ass. This is an AI picture of Trump as well as Elon in the revolutionary attire. As the OG suiting up. And they say, quote, welcome to the revolution. Getting 45 likes. Tomorrow also says, time to investigate Mitch. I don't care if he's 80 or 40. How did he get all his money? No one is above the law. Time to hold these people accountable. Getting 70 likes, which, yeah. And again, a lot of it is pretty, blunt in terms of, Nancy Pelosi being a multimillionaire. I mean, it was insider trading, which, again, is legal. As stupid as that sounds, for them, not for us. We go to jail. For them, though, it's okay. Their spouses can get that insider information and trade and make money every single time, which is ridiculous. Butch Connor says Obama is conferred to be, what is he saying? Obama is conferred to be an illegal president. That's real news today, getting 80 likes. There's a couple of scary AI-generated pictures of Mitch McConnell looking more decrepit than usual. The Department of Government, parody account of the Department of Government Efficiency says, quote, I'm not listening to a word of that LMFAO. By Mitch, don't let the door hit you on your way to China. China, getting 127 likes. Anna Smith says, he's made a statement that he is not leaving and will oppose his critics. Lie, i.e. Trump. Mitch needs to retire now, getting 32 likes, which again, he said he's not going to go for re-election, aka he's going to peter out of existence, so to say. A lot of memes, some memes of turtles. Someone actually did an AI-generated video of Mitch McConnell head on a turtle body speaking, which, yeah.
With a commitment.
Not really entertaining. Yeah, overall, I don't think it'll be missed, and hopefully, there's less rhinos in the party in the future. And they finally repealed the NFA Act of 1934, though I'm not holding my breath. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day of the iconic Porsche 911 being recalled due to headlights apparently being too bright, which I guess is a thing. This comes to us thanks to Motor1.com. Specifically, Chris Perkins, the writer over there, says, quote, "Whoops, the new Porsche 911 headlights are too bright. Porsche has recalled 878 cars and will fix it with just a simple software update." There you can see the iconic Porsche 911, specifically its headlight, which is probably more valuable than my entire 2018 Honda Civic Si, as much as I love my Honda. Now, diving in the article, they say, quote, "Porsche only recently began sales of the 992.2 generation 911, but the new sports cars already hit a recall. With the rear fog lights activated, the low beam headlights have the potential to glare on other road users." It says 878 cars initially potentially affected, all built between June and December last year. No, the news comes to our attention via CarBuzz, which reported on the recall over the weekend. The new 911 has all of its front lighting functions integrated into a single unit. According to the recalled report, the driver's side low beam lowers by 0.57 degrees when the driver activates the rear fog lights, which contravenes the federal safety standard on vehicle lighting. Thankfully, the fix is simple. A dealer performed software update for a front body control module, which, gosh, I mean, I can't imagine the stress of Elon building Tesla. Of all the industries that are overregulated, automotive is the worst. Not only do they kneecap you by saying you can't make good old big engines, can't have, real man fun, which, if you don't know that sitcom reference, I'll dial inside. But nevertheless, not only is it damn near impossible to make a fun gas-powered car these days, but it is regulated down to the degree at which the headlight is. That's how much regulation there is. Oh yeah, the headlight is a little skew by, what is it, 0.57 degrees? Oh no. So it's a federal law, of course. This is a Porsche had two lighting systems for the new 911, both all LED. The optional HD Matrix design LED uses 32,000 LED pixels to carry out all lighting functions. A Porsche spokesperson confirms that it's the upgraded HD Matrix light system that it affects. Porsche will notify dealers of the recall and will send out notice letters to owners in April. Or just watch the show, because recalls on the automotive industry usually report here months before. They say, coincidentally, a 2023 911 was also recalled for a seatbelt issue. So, not great news. And again, the biggest thing is, this is the most important car Porsche makes. Not only is it iconic because, it's the longest lasting title, it's also the most profitable one. A lot of forums and analysts will say it's like 50% profit margins for the 911. Even more when you go after the fanciest of the fancy, the 911 Turbo RS and all the special editions, which cost $200,000 to $300,000 for the vehicle. Your most profitable thing you should be treating like gold, with fancy gloves that you get inside a Lamborghini, which is Lamborghini the only car company that gives you gloves these days? I don't remember, but nevertheless, they used to. And again, I know it's a BS regulation. I'm not a fan of it, but it's an instance where, it's going to be a pain in the ass to recall. I have to go to the dealership. They have to plug in software. Hopefully it's equipped, quick little software update, the flash module, all that kind of stuff. So you're not, waiting long too long, or you have to go home and come back, which causes more inconvenience for the end user. But this is the best thing you make. This is what you're known for. I know Porsche likes to spend a stupid amount of money on advertising for their EVs that 18 people buy for a disposable car. But again, the most profitable thing you do is the 911. Per unit, again, it's the most profitable thing. It's very important to the company. And it's your brand. That is your brand. It's the 911. I know they make a crap load of SUVs. Shoot. If I had the money, I would love to get a Cayman, especially with the stick shift in green. And that's a fraction of the cost of 911. But again, the core brand is the 911. And they should be taking 2 to 3 times extra quality control, as well as checking with all the BS regulations, which, while I don't agree with, are important because, again, now they have to have a recall. Gotta say, Porsche not having the utmost standards in terms of understanding our regulations and having someone check these cars. Gotta say, Porsche, that is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I really appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.